With complete coverage of the Utah Hockey Club, this is Cole Bagley of KSLSports.com on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome back. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Alex, Kiri, Jeremiah Jensen. Together we make up the team that is JJ and Alex. Thanks for being with us on the show. Let's jump in with a cut here and chat with our Utah Hockey Club insider, Cole Bagley. Let's do it.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
And the cut brought to you this hour by the folks at the Doug Smith family of dealerships. Subaru, Chevy, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram, they're going to take care of you. And by the way, this Friday we're going to be out at the Mitsubishi, the opening of the Doug Smith Mitsubishi in American Fork as well. So there you go. Family of dealerships, and nobody knows cars like Doug. Joining us on the program, Cole Bagley, Utah Hockey Club insider, KSLSports.com. What's going on, Cole?
Not much. How are you guys?
Oh, we're trying to figure out this hockey team, man. I mean, after they beat the Hurricanes and then they're up, what was it? 2-1 going into the third period? And I was all sorts of stoked.
At one point.
They're up 2-0 at one point. I was all sorts of stoked because I have enough friends that are Golden Knights fans, and I use that term with the quotes. And they were talking trash via text, and I was like, "Come on, man!" And then when it was 2-1, silence. And then suddenly things got real sloppy. It was quite a weird third period. What was the vibe in the arena? Because it felt like it just went downhill very, very quickly, and everything fell apart very, very fast for this hockey team on Friday.
Yeah, I mean, it was top of the world to kind of shell-shocked a little bit, but this is to be expected from this team just based on the roster, you know, where they're at in terms of the rebuild and developing. It's exactly what General Manager Bill Armstrong said was going to happen this year, whereas some nights, like against the Carolina Hurricanes, you're going to watch this team and you're going to go, my goodness, this team is the best squad in the NHL. We're going to win the Stanley Cup. And then other nights, they're going to collapse like they did against Vegas. It's the second time that's happened, and multiple times this year where, they've blown a lead and ended up with 1 point or no points. And, that's just how it goes, because there's a couple things about this roster right now. First of all, they're so young. Think about the stars on this team, that Dylan Guenther, Logan Cooley, Michael Kesselring, Matthias Michelli, Maverick Lamoureux. These are young stars that haven't played in the NHL very long. Now, they're very good, and their ceiling is incredibly high, but they have a lot of experience to gain. Second of all, they're not getting as much help from some of the veterans. There's a couple guys on this team that haven't quite played up to, their norm. Guys that were top of the points ladder last year, and they need to figure things out, and coach should recognize that. And then third, Mikhail Sergachev talked about in the post game that this team just respects other teams, the opposition, far too much. They don't keep their foot down on the gas pedal for a full 60 minutes a night, and that's what they're working on. So this is how I think this season is going to go, at least for the next, couple months, as they try to figure themselves out and gain consistency. But one thing to be confident in is, despite kind of the back and forth that they're doing, they've progressed every game this year.
One of the questions I have after this week is, who should start between the pipes? I mean, the goalkeeper situation. Karel Vejmelka was awesome against the Hurricanes, got a standing ovation at the end of that game. Where should they go with that? Where do things currently stand with that between Connor Ingram and Karel Vejmelka?
Yeah, I mean, today Coach Bear said that, Ingram is still, their number one guy. But I think the rotation is starting to evolve a little bit. I think what we've seen from Vejmelka, in my opinion, I think Vejmelka right now is the better goaltender. And in the NHL, a lot of times you like to ride the hot glove, and for me, that's Vejmelka. Now Ingram is starting tonight, and that's normal. They go back and forth between goaltenders all season. Even the more elite goaltenders are not playing, every single night. They need breaks every once in a while. So, but I think, like I said, I think the rotation is going to start to change if Vejmelka can keep it up. based off what we've seen, I think he has a better skill set. I think he's faster. I think he has better reflexes, better reactions to shots. I mean, the game against Carolina where he has 49 saves, that's just unheard of. And, he still had a good game against Vegas. They won 4-2, but one of them was an empty netter. And the other two of the three were on power plays against the second best power play unit in the NHL. So, Ingram's still the top guy for them. But like I said, I wouldn't be shocked if we start to see more rotation where we're seeing Vejmelka and Knight more than, every 3 or 4 games.
Obviously, one of the things that we get excited about is anything new and shiny in this hockey season. And we'll get to the jerseys in a minute because those are brand new and shiny. But the Caps coming to town, the Washington Capitals, and Alex Ovechkin, of course. This was one of the moments where, Ovechkin's going to be in Salt Lake City, man. We were having this discussion earlier off the air, and I think a little bit on the air too, JJ and I, about where does Alex Ovechkin stand on that Mount Rushmore of NHL history, or where is it that he's going to end up at the end of his Hall of Fame career, because he's been one of the best, he's lasted for a long, long, long time, and he's still going.
Yeah. I think he's an honorable mention on the Mount Rushmore. I followed Ovechkin for pretty much his entire career. Him and Sidney Crosby came into the league about the same time, and I'm a big Sidney Crosby fan. So I've watched many, many games between those two. It's one of the greatest, I think, player-to-player rivalries in the NHL. They're very different, but they've played against each other countless times in big games, especially in the playoffs. And, they each had to go through one another to win cups. Ovechkin, at the end of the day, is going to probably end up as the all-time leading goal scorer, which is fantastic. I think, records are made to be broken. I know that Wayne Gretzky has told him to go and break it. So that's very exciting. But aside from that, he's got one cup, which is awesome. But I think that's what keeps him more in the honorable mention category than on the Mount Rushmore, just because, you got to win. And he has won. But, guys like Sidney Crosby, he's got 3. Wayne Gretzky's got multiple cups. So I think, to me, that's the measure of being on Mount Rushmore is, obviously great individual talent, but learning how to win is a big deal. It's why, people are still kind of weary of putting McDavid in that conversation because, he hasn't won a Stanley Cup yet. So, winning cups and getting your name on that thing definitely go a long way, but he's still an unbelievable player. I talked to Olli Mata today, who played for the Penguins, won 2 cups, and played against Ovechkin many, many times. And he said that the amazing thing about Ovechkin is that everybody knows where his spot is. It's on that left face-off circle. It's a one-timer. But the fact, what separates him from everybody else is the fact that everyone knows his spot, and yet he's still able to consistently score from that position. And the fact that he's 39 years old and is doing this is unbelievable.
Well, you look at the Capitals, and as we prepare for tonight's game and look ahead to tonight's matchup with Washington, obviously people are going to have their eyes on Ovechkin, but this Washington Capitals team was not supposed to be this good. 12-4-1 this year. When it comes to surprises in the NHL this year, Cole, where does Washington rank?
I'd say potentially up at the very top. One of the top teams in terms of surprising people. I mean, they weren't very good last season. They barely made the playoffs, and then things got they got dominated pretty quick in the first round. But they've just had. First off, Ovechkin is premier Ovechkin right now. I mean, the fact that he's 39, but he's playing like he's 28, 27, 28 is incredible. And, they've got some decent veterans that have been there for a while, and, Nicholas Backstrom and John Carlson and, of course, Ovechkin. And then they're just getting, Tom Wilson, but then they're getting, really good play from, guys like Lars Eller and Lapierre. And just, top to bottom, this team is just playing super, super good. And, they're one of the hottest teams in the NHL right now. I think they're the second or third best team in the Metropolitan and one of the top, they're the third team in the Metropolitan, which is the best division in the NHL right now, and fourth in the Eastern Conference. So, the Utah will have their hands full yet again tonight.
What are the injury statuses of this team right now? I know that I mean, just we're getting an idea as to how these seasons kind of shake out, and just like every professional sport, you get you get dinged up, but then there's also the part where you get the cruddy long-term injuries, things like that. What's this team dealing with from a health perspective right now?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, they're okay. After all that the injuries that they sustained to the blue line. John Marino is making progress. We've seen him around the practice facility, but it's slow progress. He's doing he's walking and doing slight resistance training. So it's not like he's anywhere close to coming back. I'd stay probably still in that 3 to 4 month range, maybe closer to 3 months. And then in terms of Jersey, I've seen him again around the practice facility. Saw him this morning in street clothes on the bench. So he's supporting the team. He's at the games. He's at the practices. He's letting his voice be heard. But yeah, he's far away. I think he's 4 to 6 months out. I think his return will be determined based on how this team is doing down the stretch. If they're in the hunt for a playoff spot, coming into later February, early March, and they need him back, there will probably be discussions about that. But if they're out of the race and there's no point to bring him back, then they'll probably just save him and have him rest up over the summer to prepare for next season. So yeah, I memean, aside from those two, they're in good shape right now. Sergachev took one off the helmet a couple games ago, but he's fine. And Kesselring took a puck to the wrist last game, but he's fine. Hockey players are tough, so unless it's something really serious, it's not the NBA. Hockey players are just a different breed.
Oh, how dare you take a swipe at those gentlemen?
Why is the NBA catching your strays?
Everybody knows. They're like, could you imagine Bear coming on and going, "Oh yeah, he's gonna take a load management day." It's like, no, no such thing in hockey.
We got our first line taking load management today.
Come on. Oh my goodness. All right, Cole Bagley, our Utah Hockey Club insider, KSLSports.com. Appreciate you coming on here with us, Cole, of course, as you do every Monday, and jamming about this Utah Hockey Club. Awesome one tonight. Oh, before we get out though, how quickly did they sell out of those jerseys? Are there still any available? Yeah,
there's still some jerseys available, but I mean, it was a scene like I have never really witnessed before. It was like the Hunger Games in there. I mean, people were going crazy. The jerseys, the ones with player names and numbers, sold out in about 10 to 15 minutes. And I even talked to a few people afterwards. I was like, "Oh, you got Sean Dursey, or you got Maverick Lamoureux, or you got Michael Kessering. Why'd you grab those guys?" And they're like, "Honestly, I just wanted one with a name and a number." So, people went crazy for them. They're phenomenal. They look awesome. I tried both on, and they're great. They're still available. Customizations though are on a brief hold as far as adding more, because I was told they had more than 1,000 customization orders over the weekend. So
gotta let them catch up.
They've got to catch up. So wear those blanks, wear them proud. They look awesome. It makes Delta Center feel a lot more like an NHL arena. And in a couple weeks, you can put the player of your choice on the back. And I know there will be more drops throughout the season. So if you don't get this round, there will be more.
That's awesome. All right, Cole Bagley, Utah Hockey Club insider for KSLSports.com. Thanks, Cole. We'll chat with you again, man.
Hey, yeah, thanks, guys.
There you go. $250, by the way, for those.
Not cheap, but man, are they beautiful.
It's the equivalent of like trying to buy a car during COVID. It's like, oh, you want that? Well, normally it's $25,000, but for you, $32,000.
It's a blind demand.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, but you know what? What was crazy was on Friday to see how many sweaters were in that Delta Center over there. I have a hard time calling it the barn still.